We're launching a new series called Today at the White House, getting at exactly that now, what happens daily at the White House. And today we're asking questions about a Truth Social post from the president. He posted, or truthed, a fake story about former President Obama getting paid royalties for Obamacare. There's no truth to that. The claim, if you can call it that, originated on a website called the Dunning-Kruger Times, which notes on its About section, quote, everything on this website is fiction, unquote. Everything. As for the Dunning-Kruger Times followers, well, the website calls those folks taters, quote, or conservative fans of America's last line of defense, which is the spin-off network. Dunning-Kruger Times describes taters as fragile, frightened, mostly older Caucasian Americans who believe nearly anything, unquote. As for that flagship, America's last line of defense, it describes itself as a, quote, network of trollery and propaganda for cash. And yet, President Trump posted something from that site on Truth Social as if it were a true and factual news story from a legitimate source. President Trump even wrote in all caps, "Wow. Wow indeed." America's last line of defense says that the Obamacare royalties headline is one of its most popular. It's an original first published in 2017, and of course, completely false. On the name, the Dunning-Kruger Times, by the way, a bit of a backstory for you. That stems from the Dunning-Kruger effect. It's a sociological study after a bank robbery in 1995 outside Pittsburgh. The bank robbers had no masks, no disguise, no sunglasses, no mustaches, yet they were stunned when they were caught when surveillance cameras picked them up. You see the headline from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette here, quote, arrest in bank robbery, suspect's TV picture spurs tips. So why were they surprised? Well, they, for some reason, believed that if they put lemon juice on their faces, they would become invisible. A Cornell professor of psychology, David Dunning, heard that news story and was stunned. He wanted to find out more. With his study co-author, Justin Kruger, their research was titled, quote, Unskilled and Unaware of It, How Difficulties in Recognizing One's Own Incompetence Leads to Inflated Self-Assessments, unquote. The study suggests that the less somebody knows about a subject, the more they think that they are an expert on that subject. In other words, stupid people don't know how stupid they are because they are so stupid. That's what the Dunning-Kruger effect is. And that's why it's called the Dunning-Kruger Times. We asked the White House for comment about why the president reposted this story from the Dunning-Kruger Times. The statement that they sent back from the White House, it didn't address why the president shared that false headline. Welcome to The Lead. I'm Jake Tapper, live on Capitol Hill. This hour, the U.S. Senate could vote any minute to reopen the federal government, bringing the 41-day saga closer to an end. 8 Democratic senators crossed the aisle to join Republicans on a deal, but House Democrats, they're not happy. They're still vowing to fight against the bill's passage. Independent Senator Bernie Sanders, who voted no, will join us live in moments. Plus, new allegations that Ghislaine Maxwell, the convicted associate of dead pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, is getting special cushy treatment in prison and working on an application to have her 20-year sentence commuted and become free. I'll get a reaction from an attorney who represented multiple Epstein survivors, victims, ahead. Also, could you soon get a $2,000 check in the mail? President Trump suggests sending what he calls tariff rebates to most Americans. So, ignoring the relevant Supreme Court's matter of the tariffs, how soon might those checks be put in the mail? Are there limits on how you can spend the money? Does the president really have the power to start cutting checks? And parts of the U.S. dealing with more than a foot of snow on the ground today as a dangerous cold snap moves across the country. CNN meteorologists are tracking the latest forecasts as the record-setting cold starts to set in. I'm Jake Tapper, live on Capitol Hill with the breaking news. The lead tonight, the fast-moving developments on the government shutdown now in its 41st day. You're looking at the floor of the U.S. Senate, where lawmakers are voting right this minute, inching closer to the final Senate passage of this government shutdown bill to open the government. It's expected tonight after 8 Senate Democrats broke with the rest of their party last night, voting to extend government funding until January 30th, to fund SNAP benefits through 2026, and to reverse President Trump's layoffs of federal workers. No deal yet on Democrats' major concern, the skyrocketing cost of Obamacare. Now some congressional Democrats are furious, even calling for Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer to step down from that post. CNN's Manu Raju is also on Capitol Hill for us. Manu, you just spoke with the House Minority Leader, Hakeem Jeffries of New York. What did he have to say?
Yeah, he's very critical of this deal, Jake, and I asked him directly about the 8 Democrats in the Senate who have voted to advance this deal and are expected to vote on final passage for this bill tonight, giving it approval by the narrowest of margins in the United States Senate. Remember, it takes 60 votes in the Senate to clear a filibuster attempt. It's expected to get 60 votes exactly, with 8 Democrats and 52 Republicans. Jeffries would not directly criticize those members, say they'll have to answer the